One of Boston's online arts magazines is returning to the web this fall. Today we'll talk to two of the editors about the comeback.
Though Apple products are all the rage, many local college students are going back to an older way of listening to music. I'm Malia Moses.
And I'm Supreme Paula. Inside Boston starts right now.
Welcome to the 16th season of Inside Boston.
Today, we're going to take you inside the local art and music scene.
World-class musicians, great food, and activities for people of all ages draw public to Beantown's Jazz Festival every year. Our own Mara Barrett gets inside the action.
1, 2, 3!
For its 12th year, the Beantown Jazz Festival returns to Columbus Avenue, once again hosted by Berklee College of Music. As many as 80,000 people are known to come to watch performers, soak in the culture, and stop by the dozens of vendor booths. Publicist of the event, Liz Lupton, talks about this year's performers.
We do have a few students performing who are, the best of the best, and it's mostly professionals who have prior contacts with Berklee or just people we thought would be a great addition.
The Jazz Fest sees a big variety in performers, including groups such as this drumming ensemble, Afro Brazil, as well as cultural ensembles such as Women of the World. While there are several male performers, the schedule is chock full of women performing in order to follow along with this year's theme of Women in Jazz. Women have infiltrated jazz more and more over the past decade, but it is still considered rare to see.
Jazz is certainly a male-dominated genre, so it's really important to emphasize that women are taking the limelight in jazz, and we're graduating a ton of female artists, whether they're jazz musicians or otherwise, or behind the scenes like producers and engineers. But it's always important to just show in a male-dominated industry that women are really, taking charge.
Myrish Spell is a student at Berklee, performing today with the Berkeley City Music All-Stars. She enjoys the expression that jazz music allows.
It's not structured versus classical or any other genres, especially in examples would be theory class, how you can have all these different types of tensions that really don't belong. But because you're expressing how you feel through music, it doesn't matter.
Being a woman in jazz herself, Myrish often experiences odd reactions when people learn what instrument she plays.
Because I do get asked a lot at Berklee, so you sing? No. Play piano? No. Well, what do you do? I was like, I play trombone, and it's just this aura of wow on everyone's face when they see it. I like it, but at the same time, it's cool. And women in the jazz aspect, I would love to see more and more every day.
Grammy Award-winning drummer and artistic director of the festival, Terry Lynn Carrington, elaborates on how women stand out in jazz today.
I think if you have the talent, people are a lot less likely to be as critical. Because we're striving constantly as artists to do the best that we can and to move our music forward, move our artistry forward, whether you're male or female.
While still a rare occurrence, it is noted that women are more frequently populating the jazz scene. Definitely
more today than there were when I came along, and it's definitely more that are feeling confident to pursue it as a career, and that's a great thing.
Here at the Beantown Jazz Festival, people have come together from all walks of life in order to celebrate music, culture, and the women who make it happen. Reporting for Inside Boston, I'm Laura Barrett.
Women continue to make strides in the music industry across all genres.
The nation's oldest city seems to be going back in time when it comes to listening to music. A sudden vinyl comeback has increased sales and popularity of records. Melissa Adon has the story.
Today, where people are more accustomed to listening to music on their iPhone, they've actually gone back to the start and now are listening to music on record players.
I didn't think it was that popular, but it seems like a pretty cool thing, so it should be popular.
For these Boston University freshmen, living together means playing loud music. However, they don't traditionally enjoy blasting music from speakers, but record players.
I thought that was pretty awesome because I thought I was just going to have to leave it at home and let it collect dust. But finding out that my roommates were into it meant that I could bring it and just have a good time.
Inspired from a trip in his hometown Chicago, Kunal purchased a Nirvana vinyl and then realized,
but I didn't have anything to play it on, and then I went out and bought a record player.
Spending $200 on his music playing device, Kunal says it has been totally worth it.
It's different. It's like it's a really cool way to enjoy your music. It's a totally different experience. Like the sound quality is just all new. Like it's perfect.
Kunal isn't the only one. Another BU student, Dan Genkin, prefers listening to records over digital music.
Obviously, music has been moving digital. First it was always the CD, and then it became digital download. Now you have things like Spotify. With vinyl, it's really different because you pick up you pick up your record, and you got to take time. And there's just something really beautiful about that you have something to hold in your hand,
Walking through this music store is almost like taking a trip through a time capsule. You'll find records, CDs, and cassettes, but what's actually in demand are the vinyls found in the store.
Yeah, definitely the last few years, records are making a bit of a comeback.
This shop owner, Stuart Friedman, says his record store Nuggets, which buys and sells records, CDs, and videos, has received an influx of record sales.
Yeah, record labels are now putting out vinyl a lot more than they used to.
Like I go into record stores, and I end up talking because usually the owners and the people that work there love what they sell.
Stuart, who has been with the store for over 30 years, says that it's not so much the older crowd going back to buying records, but a lot of young people getting into records.
I just grew up with them. They're fun. You can. I think just the whole package, the whole artwork is much more fun than CDs. And as a kid, you kind of like get the new record. You'd look at the album cover while you were listening to it, read the lyrics maybe.
Local musicians are also heavily interested in producing vinyl albums. Take, for instance, Evan Smoker from the band The Extraordinaires.
Always tried to come up with creative ways to release music because people are just bored.
And it doesn't seem like this streak of popularity is going away. Evan's band has big plans for spring of next year with a vinyl release. All these music lovers seem to have one thing in common, a passion for records on vinyl.
It's how music was meant to be heard.
So, who knows? I'd like to think they'll be around for a while again.
That's what keeps me coming back is the people and the music. That's why I keep doing it.
For Inside Boston, I'm Melissa Don.
Next time you're looking to delve into something not so new but interesting, consider checking out one of Boston's many used record shops.
Boston's annual Fashion Week returns with the newest and latest trends in the fashion world, bringing excitement to the city. Our reporters get in the middle of the action as Fashion Week kicks off.
Boston is one of the most fashionable cities in the country, and people eagerly await the arrival of top fashion designers, models, trends, and events to return to the city.
It's a self-expression of an individual in everything from personal style, lifestyle, beauty preference. Fashion really encompasses everything when it comes to us as a person.
This year, Fashion Week has introduced fashion trucks to the streets of Boston. These fashion truck designers are trying to bring the high cost of fashion into city life at more affordable rates.
Randy Lathrop, she's the City Hall in charge of Boston Redevelopment Authority. We contacted her, and they've been trying to set this up for months. So they finally said we're going to do a pilot for Fashion Week with all the trucks, and then if that does well, we'll think of some more things where we can place you all. So here we are.
Not only does Fashion Week display current designs from top designers around the world, but it gives upcoming designers the opportunity to be recognized in the fashion world.
I've never actually started designing jewelry until about a year and a half ago, and I just kind of fell in love with it and went from there. So the fashion aspect was always there, but the whole designing process, that's all new to me. This is my first time ever being like the designer and not someone behind the scenes, so it's actually really exciting.
Fashion Week receives positive feedback from the rich and famous, but it also reaches a college audience with many events considering their price restrictions.
Streetwear, it ranges so many different ages and different types of people. But I would say majority probably college students, especially in a city full of universities.
When Fashion Week comes to Boston, it encourages college students to pursue their goals in fashion design and journalism, as well as to help and maintain connections for their future.
It's really encouraging to be able to take these girls who don't quite know exactly, they're still finding themselves, and really give them some direction of how to embrace the beauty within and bring it to where the world can see.
Although Fashion Week focuses on designers and new styles, its lasting impact is greater than the fashion itself. The event allows college students and upcoming designers alike to get a start in the developing fashion industry. This is Christina Ernie reporting live from Inside Boston.
Fashion Week continues to tour in New York later in the month, as well as many other locations in the world throughout the year. For more information, visit bostonfashionweek.com.
Coming up on Inside Boston, we'll show you what some local artists have been up to recently.
And if you're tired of Starbucks, stay tuned to learn about a coffee shop that will inspire you to study. We'll be right back.
I heard about this company dumping toxins in local rivers, and I called their executives to say stop. But they were too busy counting profits while the rivers are being destroyed, birds and fish are dying, and the local kids are getting cancer. So I organized a huge protest, and we actually got the company shut down. But now half the town's unemployed, and the kids are twice as sick since they can't get health care, since their parents lost the insurance they had when they worked for the company who dumped all the toxins in the first place.
Welcome back to Inside Boston. Art isn't always just aesthetic. Sometimes it can be functional too. One local artist hopes to cheer you up and keep you dry. Inside Boston reporter Justin Bork has more.
Her name is Lauren Briere. She's an artist. And this is her canvas. Lauren is the founder and sole employee of Over Our Heads, a company specializing in, you guessed it, umbrellas. I sat down with her and her dog Abe to talk about how she does it and where her unique style comes from.
I start with a sketch in my sketchbook, and once I get a general idea of what I want to do, I just slap down some white paint first. From there, I just apply more and more color and layer up, and suddenly there's a painting in front of me.
How do you describe your current style of art?
I guess in the same way that I would describe myself. Quirky and silly and a little whimsical with a dark side, I'd say.
Lauren got her start illustrating music videos and children's books while living in Los Angeles. The shift to umbrellas, she says, was something that has been brewing for a long time.
When I was younger, I was kind of rambunctious and a little wily, but I would take an umbrella and jump off things from a height, and with the hopes that I would fly or float off. And I think that's part of it. It's just things that I did as a child. That's what affects me now. I don't know, I guess I'm a big kid.
Lauren's company, Over Our Heads, began on Kickstarter.com, a lending website for artisan startups. As soon as people saw pictures of her work, it took off. In just 1 month, she raised roughly $23,000, over double her goal. She's spending that money on reproducing some designs as well as hand-painting new ones. But her ultimate goal, she says, is to have her own boutique.
Definitely. I would like to be the one behind the register and matching people with their personalities with the right kind of umbrella. I don't know, and just be able to see people's faces upon walking in. I've been lucky enough to see people's faces when they look at my umbrellas now without a shop, and it's the most rewarding thing. It's amazing.
This is the house where Lauren currently lives with her father. It's simple, quiet, not at all like her art. But with luck, Over Our Heads will grow, and soon Lauren will be able to replace this with that cute urban boutique. In the meantime, I have my umbrella. Now I just have to wait for it to rain. For BUTV, this is Justin Bork.
To check out more of Lauren's umbrella designs, head to overourheads.com.
The SOA Artists Guild at 450 Harrison Ave opened their doors for a sneak peek into their studios. Our reporter, Sandy Hooper, checks out the scene.
The SOA Artist Studios are the only centralized hub for galleries and artists within the city of Boston.
I'm new. I'm the new kid on the block, one of the young new people. I got in here in December. But the fact that there are so many people coming here on a Friday night, traveling in and out, walking in and out, it tells me that a lot of people know that this is the hub of the art world right now. Newbury Street to some extent, but the prices for rents got so high there. My understanding is a lot of the galleries have moved out and moved here, especially with the down economy in the past several years. So this is the hub. This is exciting, and as you can see, people are flowing in and out on a regular basis.
Painter Kelsey Chaplin is an emerging artist looking to move to New York City this fall.
Boston is it's just a different type of city. It's for a younger person, especially when you're a freshman in college, it's a really great city to start. The community here is, I think, a little more loyal to each other than, say, in New York. New York, it can be cutthroat, but I mean, not saying that there isn't a loyal community there, but here I feel like there's more of a conversation to be had comfortably.
In spite of the camaraderie of the Boston art community, Chaplin thinks Boston is a stepping stone city to larger art hubs like New York City.
The artists in Boston can hold their own, but sadly to say it is a dying profession here. Not to say that I'm going to stop, and I know that's the same attitude as a lot of the artists that I know, but you do have to do what's right for yourself, and I've been in Boston for 7 years now, and I'm ready to go back to New York.
In any case, the studios at 450 Harrison is a great place for artists to collaborate.
This is a great starting point. Sharing a studio with other artists, a building with other artists, having people come in and look at your work, talk about your work, because that opens doors, And when those doors open, those opportunities, you step in, and there are more doors that open and more opportunities. So if you're coming out of art school as a young person, you have to stay involved.
For Inside Boston, I'm Sandy Hooper.
In addition to the art walk, SOA hosts an open-air market with a food truck court every Sunday through October 28th.
Voltage Coffee and Art is a lively place bursting with people, music, artwork, and delicious espresso. Inside Boston's Shoshana Koff has more on Boston's only art and coffee shop.
From its exotic coconut ginger lattes to the lively music that fills the shop, the atmosphere of Voltage Coffee and Art puts a spin on the quiet, dark coffee shops around Boston. A regular at Voltage, Tam Nguyen describes what enticed her about the shop.
Today was kind of a gloomy day, and I was trying to think about some bright and lively place to do some work, and could not think of a better place such as Voltage because of the colors that they have here, and as well as the artwork, and especially because of the coffees and teas that they have.
Proud owner Lucy Valena told us what she thinks makes Voltage so unique and inspiring.
What we're trying to do here is be more of a talking coffee house. During the week, I mean, it's very quiet right now, but during the week, this place it is loud in here. I mean, people come here to have meetings, they come here to pitch ideas to each other, they come here to brainstorm. It is just loud, and it's just a buzzing hum. It's like a little hive in here. People drinking lots of caffeine and having lots of good ideas, and that's what I love.
Valena, who graduated from Hampshire College with a fine arts degree, says her shop's art is carefully chosen by a curator who scouts the trendiest up-and-coming local artists. The coffee shop has 100 feet of gallery space and keeps guests visually entertained from every angle.
That's my main passion and love is in art and in making people excited about art and caffeinating the hell out of them all so they have energy to do it.
In the near future, Lucy plans on expanding the menu by acquiring a beer and wine license for the coffee shop. She envisions a lively, loud, and inspiring space, which will include live performances from local pianists and small orchestras.
So if you want to get inspired and totally wired, come to Voltage Coffee and Art. For Inside Boston, I'm Shoshana Koff.
Owner Lucy Valena says she looks forward to expanding the scope of the shop in regards to its artwork and menu. Maybe next time you should skip the Starbucks line and stop by Kendall Square for your daily brew. Coming up on Inside Boston, we'll talk to the people behind the online arts journal Big Red and Shiny.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Energy prices are just too high. That's what drove us to attempt the first static electricity-powered home. Success has been elusive. Besides making the house itself more energy efficient, the smartest thing we did was adding Energy Star products. Static electricity may not be viable, but at least we've taken a step for our future. Anybody can make their home more energy efficient.
Good night, sweetie.
Good night, Mommy. After a 2-year hiatus, Boston's art-centered web journal, Big Red and Shiny, is making its big return. Our own Victoria Price is in the studio with 2 of their editors.
Thanks, Malia. I'm here with John Piper and Stephanie Cardone of Big Red and Shiny. Thanks so much for being here. And first off, congratulations on the relaunch. How's it feel to be back?
It feels pretty sweet.
Yeah. It's pretty fantastic.
For those for us who aren't familiar, can you tell us more about Big Red and Shiny? What's it all about?
Sure. Big Red and Shiny is an arts journal that's online. It was founded in Boston around 2003, but it was first published in 2004, and then we brought it back this year.
Yeah. It was in hiatus for a couple of years, and so there's actually a new team of editors, including us, who've relaunched it with a whole new look.
And why did you decide to return after a 2-year hiatus?
Well, for one thing, there wasn't really anything that was filling the gap in Boston. I mean, there have been some excellent art blogs, but there hasn't been anything that had sort of the substance and scope of Big Red and Shiny. And so there was a voice that was definitely lacking and a venue that was definitely lacking for arts reporting.
Yeah, I mean, the brand of Big Red, or however you want to put it, was big enough and had a big enough umbrella to bring in numerous writers instead of just a voice for a blog. And it really brought something to Boston that was missing.
So what was the relaunch process like? What did you guys have to go through?
Well, for one thing, the founding editors are now our advisory board, which is going to be expanding. We decided to do an entire relook of the website, so we hired a graphic designer who's a recent Mass Art grad, actually, and he, if you go to the website, you'll see it has a very sort of contemporary look now. We also had a Kickstarter fundraiser, and we just accomplished a goal of $12,000 in about a month. And to cap that off, we had a party at the Mills Gallery in the South End with DJs and performance art and dancing and art on the walls, and so that's where we are now.
It also involved going back through 8 years of journal and looking at the writers and bringing them back in, and then finding new writers and relaunching everything and planning for the future.
Pretty elaborate process.
Yeah.
What are the new additions? Like, what is the new Big Red and Shiny going to look like?
Well, the split between the blog and the journal is a little bit more pronounced. The blog is really daily, and there are probably about 2 to 4, sometimes more posts on there every single day. We're creating categories of content that are podcasts, for instance. We have an artist in residence on the blog who's sort of talking about their studio process. We have a lot more image and video on there. And the journal, by contrast, is a lot more substantive and substantial in terms of writing. There's the longer pieces, commissioned artworks, pretty long interviews that are exclusives with artists from all over, actually, not just New England.
Yeah, the journal, the difference between the journal that was before, which felt like a blog, but blogs, in 2003 and 4 were a little bit less than, established than they are now. And the difference in the journal today, which is, a commissioning body that goes out and finds excellent art writing, is the biggest difference.
You mentioned something about filling a gap. What is this gap that you think that the Boston arts community needed to be filled?
Well, I think it's the separation between the Weekly Dig and October journal that comes out of MIT and Harvard. That there's either the highest level of academia or there's a quick 500-word blurb, and there's nothing in between, which is what we're trying to publish.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you're looking to achieve, either in the local art scene or just in the contemporary art world in general?
Well, I guess I'll dial back my ambitions a little bit, but what I would love to see is encouragement for an artist community in Boston. So definitely, I guess by writing more about what's going on now, give artists a sense that they are being watched and they are being looked at, and so hopefully that will give even greater impetus to open new spaces and have more dialogue and constantly push people to improve their work and to get better visibility.
Yeah, with that celebration of what's going on already. Also to just engage with that conversation that is, it tends to be missing because it's either a blurb or a full academic treatise that comes out about museums. To actually have a conversation with an artist that, is young or in the, just barely in their career or just out of their master's is invaluable for them.
All right, well, Stephanie, John, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Be sure to check out the relaunch of Big Red and Shiny October 15th. Supriya, Malia, back to you.
Thanks, Victoria. And that's going to wrap up this edition of Inside Boston. For more information on our show, or if you'd like to watch previous IB episodes, you can log on to butv10.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at InsideBoston. I'm Supreme Upala.
And I'm Malia Moses. Thanks for stopping by.